and welcome. This is going to be an all signs reading for the next 48. So this is August 5th. That'll be up to the 7th. And I've got a couple of songs that have been coming through to me as I've been thinking about doing this video. The one, and it's funny because it came up yesterday, Rod Stewart's, it's called Faces, but the line in it, I wish that I knew then what I know now when I was younger. And, you know the rest of it. And the other one, too, is Little Richard's Shake, Rattle, and Roll. And I don't know, I'm getting this message that, like, there's a lot of bratty energy going on right now, which kind of makes sense, especially with the mixture between the moon in Pisces and so much of the rest of the planets in Leo. And I'm kind of getting this message that, like, it's okay to go with that. Like, for anybody that's not done the shadow work of embracing their dark side, you're probably going to be put through it anyways. And for those that have already done that work and are recognizing this kind of energy, the important thing is to look at your intention. And that's really a lot of what this karma energy from Saturn is coming through, especially retrograde in Capricorn. In fact, when I think about it, the moon in Pisces is too, is it's really making us stop and look at what are our intentions in when we do something, especially when we do something that puts us in a moral bind. You know, like if you know that there's something that you could do that would protect somebody else, but they would be really upset at you if you did do it and you could lose that relationship, well, what do? Do you go for do you stand in your integrity and say, you know what, I'm not going to do that because it's going to hurt you, and I know that it is, and then risk that they might backlash, they might be upset, they might not understand. And you also take the risk in, even if you say, okay, look, I'm willing to take the risk of not holding on to what I want in order to do the right thing, you could also find out later that you did not do the right thing. And then you got to deal with that karma. So this is kind of like an amplification of karmic things coming up. And I mean, on the other side of that too, like, do you make decisions based on what will be of the most benefit to you, or to the group? That this is a lot of that Aquarius versus Leo energy, and even with that Pisces energy in there, and with Mars and Aries, we're really, it's like, it feels like pressure, like, do it right now, you gotta do it right now. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to do anything right now. We still have a lot of this energy playing out, of learning the lesson that just because other people are triggered or feeling pressured or wanting something to happen now, does not mean that we need to join them just to soothe them. In fact, it kind of indicates that they are working on challenges of self-soothing. And if you are feeling pressured, so are you. So I suppose that'll be kind of the all signs homework for today, is recognize where you might act codependently, either in trying to rescue somebody, or in feeling like getting pushed into doing things that you know better than to do, that have gotten you screwed in the past or have not turned out well, but you're doing it because you're trying to calm the energies around you. Like, you don't want to rock the boat, or you want to have a few minutes of peaceful alone time, or whatever it is. Because here's the thing, you have to find a balance. We have to find a balance in the middle, to where we are thinking of the whole. We're thinking of the whole and what they want, but we're not putting our self-care and our connection with our intuition, our inner being, last all the time. It's going to happen sometimes, but for the most part, like, if your gut is going off, stop and think about what parts of your ego are triggered in that. Where are you responding with trauma? Especially if there's a lot of karmic energy going on right now. I'm seeing it come in from all sorts of places, and it's really pushing us to point out where we still have challenges with self-worth and self-recognition and standing up for ourselves. A lot of this Leo energy is it's been bringing that in, and it's going to keep bringing that in. It's standing in personal power. But if you're in a good place and if you really, how do I even put it? So I like to say the difference between intuition and instinct. Like, instinct is ego coming in saying, you're going to burn your finger if you touch that hot stove, don't do it. And make sure that you turned it off and don't set anything on it. Like, it's very like, it's warning you that things are coming, and how to avoid that pain. Intuition is kind of a quieter, softer voice in there that's saying, hey, if you do this, it'll probably feel good. If you do this, it aligns with who you are. It's a kind thing to do, and an intuition is in there going, have faith, have faith. You don't need to know why or how or what it is. Intuition kind of teaches us that embrace the absurdity, whereas instinct, I mean, it's important and it's valid, and that's why you shouldn't necessarily always ignore it, and it's why I don't jump on the bandwagon of all ego is bad. All ego is not bad. Ego is there to help us be able to navigate things, and it's meant to be a tool with intuition. But if you feel like you're in a good place and your intuition feels aligned, like you feel calm, if you feel calm about whatever's going on and grounded, and you're feeling a little bit bratty, well, the message from spirit is enjoy it, but remember also that whatever you choose to do in that energy right now, whether you decide to pull away or to play or to be combative or whatever it is, that karma's, it's magnified right now. I still don't understand all of it, but I've seen a fair amount of it in the astrology and in the energy. There's a lot of sped up stuff happening right now in terms of karmic cycles, like we're really upgrading and things. We're seeing it all over too, even politically and stuff. So it is happening, and so it's what I'm feeling like is the things that we do, whereas karma can sometimes take years to really affect us. Right now, it's like coming in like that, like what you do, and then something else happens, like that equal but opposite reaction, like, and it's coming in quickly. So if you're in the energy of lack, like you're trying to hold on to something or somebody, because you're scared to lose them or scared to be alone, you're going to manifest being alone and losing people way faster. And if you're scared about being a bad person, or you're scared about like whatever it is, like I'm feeling a lot of this fear stuff, which the Pisces moon can bring up. It can surface up the fears that we're looking at, and that's been another thing that's been coming up in the energy too, is facing our fears, like seeing them and kind of seeing them in a almost like a detached lens of like, oh, I do have a fear there. How can I face that? Okay, I can get back to a place of gratitude, and I can work on this and this and this, or I can call a friend. Like, seeing that. But there's plenty of people who've not gotten to that place yet. And so right now, all of the things that they've been hiding from and not wanting to face are being kicked up. And it's getting them more rapidly to that point. But I can't stress enough, with all the with all the karmic energy going on, all the karma cycles and things like that, really take the time, treat it like you're in a Mercury retrograde, where it's not a good time to be making really big decisions right now. Even if you think that you're doing it in a good heart or a good light, it's likely to backfire and it's likely to be a lasting backfire too. So don't let people push you into anything. Just relax and recognize that people doing that to you are it's not actually the thing that they're trying to have you do that you need to do. It's spirit coming in and saying, here is your shadow. Here is what you are afraid of. You need to work on and heal that. And so do they. So by that matter, even just sitting back and letting things just chill and just glide in the way that they are, or maybe even being a little bratty, being like, I see that you're in a rush, but right now that's not aligning with my inner being, and life is not going to end and the world is not going to melt if we don't do it right now. You're probably helping them learn to deal with their own insecurities too. And yes, that might end up bringing in its own sort of consequences, sort of, but it's just more contrast. It's just another opportunity for you to reaffirm who you are and who you want to be in each moment. Do you want to be somebody that plays into these dramatic cycles? Do you want to be somebody who's constantly out of energy because you're trying to rescue other people? Do you want to be the kind of person that can be derailed on your work and your art and your projects and your music just because somebody else is having an unaligned day? Like, really, like, think about that stuff. All right. I've jabbered on for too long and much longer than I meant to. So let's get to the cards. This is for all signs for August 5th through the 7th. And let's see, I'm going to laugh if some of these cards line up with what I was just talking about. I didn't even, to be honest, have that planned or predicted at all. Or, well, I didn't have it planned out to say any of that. That's just what came out. Oh, wow, okay. I'm going to ask for one more card, but this is that's a very interesting one. Ace of Cups. And on the bottom, the Nine of Cups in reverse. So somebody is really wanting a new beginning emotionally. In fact, a lot of people are. That's kind of that energy coming out because they're realizing the situation that they are in, it's not fulfilling them. The Nine of Cups in upright is wish fulfillment. It's like right before the Ten of Cups, where you have happy life, happy wife, happy emotional everything. And when the Nine of Cups is in reverse, it's like the negative sides of hedonism and greed and laziness and well, it could definitely be a bit of bratty energy now that I think about it, but I'd like to get a couple more cards because this is for everybody. And just, you know, if something that I talk about, either in channelings or cards, doesn't resonate with you, that's totally okay. You can take what feels good and leave out what doesn't. And if you haven't yet, check out some of my videos on manifesting. I'm going to do a couple more even about emotional GPS. Okay, I'm still going to pull one more card. I'm feeling like it. But the next card that popped out was the King of Cups reversed. That's funny. So far, we have two cups that popped out and a cup that came out on the bottom. And the bottom of the deck now is the Devil. That's Saturn energy. That's karma. That's cycles. And it's commitments. It's you reap what you sow sort of energy. So there's some, it could be a lot more those that identify as masculine, or if you follow the twin flame journey as divine masculine, are not feeling like it. And for everybody else, it could be father wound stuff coming up. So if you're feeling triggered about something that your partner or a friend or anybody around you is doing, look back at how that may have happened to you a fair amount growing up. Okay, so you know, I might pull another few cards later, but for right now I'm going to stop at this. The next one that we got is the Page of Swords. So, wow, we have a lot of, you see that there's a lot of blue energy in there, and it's overtaking the other colors in the card, which is that the pink, the green, and the yellow. That blue energy is throat chakra energy, and it really fits in with the Mercury and Leo energy we have going on right now. It's speaking your truth, and this one in particular is a card of standing in your truth, but it's an immature way of doing it. In upright, I want to say it's, I'm kind of getting that it is kind of aligned with some of that bratty energy. It's writing, it's being grounded in the beginnings of your truths. It's also kind of just setting out onto the journey of standing in your truth in an interesting sort of way. So this could be a beginning for a lot of people, especially a lot of people that identify as a masculine sort, or the father, the breadwinner, things like that. It's interesting because I hadn't thought about before the fact that his tunic is pink. It's pink with yellow arms and green stockings and red boots, which is like his whole torso is covered in crown chakra energy, which can be pink or white, and even his collar is white, showing he's got an undershirt that is white under there. So it's like the outer layer of the crown chakra being pink and the inner layer being that white color. And with his arms being yellow, that's that solar plexus, that in fact that Leo energy. And it's interesting because there's not as much of that as there is of the pink. There, you could even conceivably say there's more of the green stocking energy than there is of that, which is heart energy. And then the boots, it's very fitting that they are red because that's root chakra and that's your groundedness, your fight or flight kind of thing. And he is kind of in a fight or flight stance, isn't he? Like, he's not exactly fighting, and he's not super defensive, but he's also got his sword up, which is, swords are thoughts and boundaries, and he's kind of got it. I'm getting the sense that either you or somebody that you know, maybe several, they may be giving the presentation in the front that they're open and that they're not going anywhere, but they've got this thought in the back of their mind about it. Or it might be that somebody is accusing you of that. I'm kind of getting called to this little tree down in the bottom here too, right there, because it looks like it's very windy. It looks like a little island in the sea where there's like a hurricane going over it with all these clouds, and that I'm kind of getting, I'm seeing the picture of this card that other readers have called Storm Warning. And I mean, yeah, if you look at the waves in the back too, they're very kicked up. It's not a calm sea back there. And with the birds up here, it feels like a lot of people are really learning to listen to their intuition in that. And because this card is very, like, in the middle about things, I'm getting the sense that this is like Spirit is kicking up. It's using the Pisces energy over the next 48 hours to kind of kick up a fog, kick up, like, to make it so that we can't quite see what is in front of us or what is coming, and then either giving the illusion of a storm going on around us or actually bringing in a storm that's like, that's blowing our hair back, and that is really, it's bringing us into all elements if you think about it, actually, because, like, not all these characters have the same, like, skin tone, which is good in real life, but if you look, he or she even has kind of got like this orange skin tone, which fits in with the sacral chakra. The only color that's really missing in here is that, like, indigo color of the third eye, and that makes sense because with all this cloudedness in here, that seems like what is kind of being clouded at the moment is or not clouded. It's more like it's being excluded, so we have to look for it. We have to really question, like, do I need to run? Or do I need to stand my ground? Or do I need to, like, put my sword down? Like, what is going on? I'm curious to get the feedback that I'll get from y'all on this one. And I like to look at Bonnie O at Vision Quest does a tarot class that is really great. One of the things that she showed in it that I really loved was that if you look at the order that the cards are in and where the characters are looking. So if we look at it this way, this this Page of Swords is staring at this King of Cups in reverse, and because he's in reverse, he's staring at this Ace of Cups, and he doesn't look very happy about it. And masculine, feminine for readings and stuff can apply to any gender, whatever you feel like applies to you. And typically we go through cycles of being in all energies, so it's not meant to be like specific, and it's not just all in binary. It's just the energies of it. With that King of Cups in reverse, like, that's somebody who is being too ambiguous and being very, in fact, somebody who's being very bratty emotionally and not in a good way. And if he's staring at the Ace of Cups, what I'm getting the sense of is that he really wants to, he wants to be like this. So there's some people, like, either if it's you, you really would like a new beginning, emotionally, romantically, all of it. You're ready to be cleansed in the waters, so to speak. And if it's not you, it's somebody that you know who is really, they're feeling like they've been used emotionally. Usually the King of Cups in upright is a very emotional person. They're not always very talkative. This is usually Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. And they're usually very calm and centered, and they recognize that things happen. There isn't always even a reason why they happen. They're a good father sort. They're playful, they're emotional, they're the romantic one who likes to play music with you and do things like that. But in reverse, they're they're very closed off. They've gone in their shell. They've got their scorpion stinger out, and they're recognizing that they don't have that. They don't, they don't have the Ten of Cups, which I think is part of why we saw that Nine of Cups in reversed when this card came out. They thought that they could get, or you thought that you could get a Ten of Cups sort of situation out of wherever it is that you've been over the last, like, at least, let's say, since January at minimum. It could be something from last year even, but the next 48 hours, or many somebodies, are recognizing that a situation that they thought could become the Ten of Cups is not. And so now the want is for a new beginning. It could be for some of you wanting to start over with somebody that you maybe jumped in with immaturely. It could be wanting, in fact, because these two cards are both staring at the Ace of Cups, it could even be, in fact, that makes sense with this Leo energy, that a fair amount of people are really wanting to not have to worry so much about the adulting burdens that we tend to put on each other. And I don't have a ton more space on here to do a bunch more, so I'll do the individual readings next. But I do want to point out, in the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Wands in reverse. So somebody's impatient and confused, and they're tired of waiting for things to get better. On the bottom, we have the Eight of Cups, which is a spiritual journey. So some of us are going to go inward during this time and really work on ourselves and look at the things that if there's anything that's been coming up that you feel like you keep seeing delay after delay after delay, it's time to stop and look at that situation and figure out what inside you, maybe in the shadowy areas, is manifesting these same people or situations that are so turbulent. In the middle of the deck, we have the High Priestess in reverse. Again, another sign that it is best to try to focus on your intuition. Don't rush anything. And this is probably more karmic energy coming in, attempting to rattle things up, which I think is that shake, rattle, and roll energy. It's kind of like when somebody comes at you and tries to rattle you out of your comfortable, aligned place. Just think of that song. Just shake, rattle, and roll. Oh, that's not even the one. That's not a Little Richard one. What's the Little Richard one? Why did I think that those two were there? Maybe listen to both. Just recognize that these are shakeups that Spirit is putting out to have us grow and learn. And so try not to look at anything done by anyone as like a personal attack. It's just a reflection of something that you can work on, and as you work on it, you level up and you glow up and you have a great time. So if anybody would like a personal reading, please feel free to reach out, MadameThanatas@gmail.com, and otherwise I'll see you in the individual sign readings.